at the time when you're out having what you think is a great time, those people closest to you, most of the time, are sitting around worrying about you.
Make sure I charge my Garmin, make sure I've charged my lights, make sure we get those bars in 10 miles and I'll be more than starving. Nothing compares to the thrill, underprepared for the hills. I used to get wheels on air, now I put air in my wheels, change that tune, train and cruise, chains been lewd, pace and move, Strava stats give man a heart attack, but then my pace improves. Bars and cadence are strong, now my legs up, my cadence are long. It's about time we do this, it's the cycling tattooist.
What is up, guys? If you're new here, then welcome to the channel, and if you're a regular, then welcome back. Now, as some of you may already know, I used to be a bit of a party animal in my past life, but that life is no more. In fact, recently I've just hit a pretty big milestone. So today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about my journey into sobriety and some of the great things that have come from becoming sober. So the other day I surpassed a pretty big milestone. I am now 1,000 days sober, which is absolutely mind-blowing. If you would have told me when I first started my journey into sobriety that I would get this far, I definitely wouldn't have believed you. Now, so much good has come from me becoming sober, and I'm starting off with a pretty hot topic, and that is mental health. Now, back when I was drinking, I was definitely one of your classic cases of using alcohol to deal with problems, and well, it never works. In fact, let's face it, all it really does is just make those problems a lot worse. Since turning to sobriety, I have found a love for the more simple things in life, such as going on beautiful dog walks with your lovely partner and your wonderful pooch. This is just one example of such a simple thing in life that has such a great impact on your mental health. Getting out in nature and giving yourself some time to relax your mind and help you process any problems you're dealing with in your head, it really is the best medicine, and it is certainly a lot better than turning to alcohol. Now, I just want to take a moment to say that I'm not trying to preach, and I fully understand there is people out there that have a control on their addictions. Being able to go out on a night out and have just a couple of drinks and know when to call it a night, well, that was something that I was never able to do. I always believed that it wasn't possible for me to go out and have a good time without alcohol, and I definitely used it as a coping mechanism of being social. But 1,000 days later, that is 2 years and almost 9 months if you're any good at maths, I've now been out and I've experienced all of those situations that I thought I would struggle without alcohol. I've been to birthdays and I've been to weddings. I've been to all sorts of celebrations, and I've realized you definitely don't need alcohol to have a good time. And I'll tell you one thing, knowing this information is so good for your mental health. And I mean, a lot of us, we've been there before. We've woke up the next day after a heavy night out, feeling with a lot of regret and anxiety, not knowing what you got up to the night before. Well, now I know I never have to deal with that ever again. And it is so good for my mind, waking up in the morning feeling fresh and being able to get out on a lovely walk. There really isn't anything better than that. The other thing that you may well wake up the next morning worried about is how much you spent the night before. And that leads me very nicely into the next positive to becoming sober. One of the things that I really noticed once I stopped drinking and going out partying all the time was just how much money I was actually spending on nights out. In fact, it's actually a little bit sickening when I think about just how much money I wasted over the years. The problem is, when you're going out spending all your money on nights out, you really don't have anything to show for it. And yeah, I really didn't. I didn't have any savings. I was just living week by week. Now, the problem is, to feed a habit of going out partying every weekend, you need to work really hard for it. And that's exactly what I did. I was working 6 days a week with very little downtime, and all that really did was push me more into my coping mechanism, which was drinking. So nowadays, things are a little bit different. I'm not working as much anymore, obviously not earning as much money, but the crucial thing is, I'm not going out spending it all in the pub. Now, this means any spare money I do have, I can spend on other things that I actually want to spend my money on, such as buying cool new wheels for your car. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and spend your hard-earned money on materialistic things, but spending your money on things that make you happy certainly is a lot better than giving it away to the pub landlord. Anyways, not for a second am I trying to say that money can buy you happiness, because believe me, it can't. But it's just nice to know that you're not wasting it. And on that note, another thing that it can't buy is the next thing I'd like to talk about. May be a bit of an obvious one, but if you stop drinking alcohol, you are going to receive some physical health benefits. When I was 10 years old, I got my first BMX, and I've took it pretty seriously ever since then. I've also done a lot of other sports over the years, and even through my years of abusing alcohol, I still remained relatively active. Now, I think this led me into a bit of a false sense of security, and I did actually think that I was fit. But in reality, I really wasn't. We all know how it is at the end of a bit of a dirty night out. You're probably gonna find yourself in a kebab shop or McDonald's or somewhere like that. And well, if you do that often enough, yeah, you're not gonna be very healthy for it. Now, the other thing is, it's also very hard to remain consistent, especially when you're nursing a hangover. It is very easy to just say, no, I'm not gonna go to the gym today. No, I'm not gonna get out on that bike ride. And then you just end up sitting around at home, eating takeaway food, and just being lazy. The great thing about knowing you're never gonna wake up with a hangover is that you're gonna be waking up in the morning, feeling fresh, and you're gonna be able to keep that consistency. See, it's that consistency where you're really gonna feel the benefit. I'm certainly not gonna make out like just by quitting alcohol, you're gonna receive a lot of fitness benefit. It's the choice to remove alcohol from your lifestyle that really helps promote these new healthy habits. Now, for me, it certainly did come as a package deal. In fact, I actually started road cycling before I started my sobriety journey. As I started to ride my bike more and more, it gave me that kick that I needed to believe in myself and to know that I was going to be able to start a new life sober. Now, with this healthier and much more active new life of mine, it gives me more time to do things like this and spend time with the people that I love. One of the worst things about alcohol is it doesn't only affect yourself, it affects those people closest to you. I definitely experienced this, and it can have a damaging effect on those relationships that you care about most. See, the thing is, at the time when you're out having what you think is a great time, those people closest to you, most of the time, are sitting around worrying about you. And well, it's not a nice thing to do to those people. It really isn't. Unfortunately, one of the people that suffered the most with this, she had to put up with a lot of from me. So, Rach, what would you say was the worst thing about when I was drinking?
Never knowing if you were safe, and also what your mental state was going to be like when you got home.
As I've already mentioned, I used to use alcohol as a way to deal with my problems, and as Rach mentioned, when I would come home, she would never know what she was going to get. I could be really, really sad, really, really angry, and one thing's for certain, I definitely wasn't dealing with my problems. Don't worry, it's a mocktail. See, one of the nice things is now we can actually go out for a nice meal, and Rach doesn't have to worry whether I'm going to start ordering shots or not. Because no doubt before, I would have definitely been drunk before the main course had even arrived.
I don't think that was actually good.
Cheers, thank you, bye. Anyways, so the point that I'm trying to make is that now I can focus on making stronger relationships with people that I care about and making memories that I'm actually going to remember.
Cup of tea and biscuits. No,
The best thing of all is that now we go home nice and early and we're going to go have a nice tea and biscuits.
yes.
Rachel's favourite. Anyways, I would like to think that becoming sober has definitely made me nicer, and I'm not that selfish person that I once was. I'm not living my life day by day anymore, and in fact, it's helping me to look forward to things to come. There you go, as promised, cup of tea, and we've treated ourselves today to some white chocolate digestives. Outrageous. Now, I'm very lucky to be able to say that I absolutely love my job, and to be honest, if it wasn't for my job, then my drinking probably would have been a lot bigger of a problem than it actually was. Since becoming sober and finding road cycling, and then going on to making this YouTube channel, well, now I can say that I actually have 2 jobs that I really love. And I do honestly believe that without becoming sober, none of this would have happened. This has now led on to us pursuing our dreams, and we are going to be going off to start a new life in a new country. And this is definitely something that probably may never have happened if I would have continued on the path that I was on before. Now, as I said at the start of this video, I don't want any of this to come across as preaching, but I think sometimes you do need to take a look at your lifestyle and think to yourself, could I possibly have an addiction? I myself at the time definitely didn't think that I did, but it's taken me to now to look back and realize I definitely had a problem. One thing that I always say to anyone that reaches out to me is that if it's ever crossed your mind about trying a life of sobriety, then give it a go. I guarantee you will love the positive effects that it has on your life. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.